Hey, 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 purpose pushers and go-getters. It's Coach Tamika, the purpose pusher, here with your midweek push. Actually, it's Thursday, but I still consider it a midweek push because it's not the weekend, right? Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I wanted to drop a little something about potential. It's a word that we all hear. It's a word that we all know we have. Some of us don't operate fully into it, but you won't be the first or last, anyways. We're not discussing that today. But what we are discussing is just how much of your potential is determined by your IQ. So let me propose the question this way. How much of your potential does your IQ determine? Like, does your IQ really determine your potential? For a long time, I thought it did, but guess what? It doesn't. So if you give me just a moment, just breathe with me a little bit. I want to share a passage that I read earlier today by the amazing Dr. Myles Munroe, and it was kind of talking about the potential too. And it's titled this: Don't let the world determine your potential. He says, we have allowed the world around us to determine our potential. Teachers say to students, you're a C student. Then the student goes around believing that, and he becomes an average student for the rest of his life, and even an average person in general. He becomes an average husband, or she becomes an average wife. We become average parents, average children with average attitudes and IQs, right? And then we turn out to be average, and our parents say, well, honey, you just got that from me. You got my genes. How many of you heard that before? Anyway, no. They received your attitude that was transmitted to you from that teacher that said you was a D student or a C student based off that test you took, right? Keep going. You need to shake off what people call IQs. Do you know what IQ means? It means intelligent quotients. It's what people believe your degree of intelligence is based upon some tests you take. Now, how many of you guys in school took ACT, SAT, the kids nowadays, even as far as elementary school, they take EOGs, midterm exams, all these standard tests or whatever that supposedly will determine what they're gonna do and what they're capable of doing, right? Putting stigmas on us and stuff. Anyways, where was I? It says, these tests measure your motor skills, your thinking ability, your cognitive ability, and your reading ability, your math ability, etc. Basically trying to say everything. Says, then, based on what these tests say, you are a D student. You are a D person. You haven't even grown up yet, and they are telling you what you are going to be and do. Dr. Myles Munroe says, they don't know what you are going to do. Unfortunately, people believe what they are told based off those tests. There are thousands of examples in history of men and women who were put off and cast out as misfits. I would agree. Later, they turned out to be some of the world's greatest leaders. We must be careful, and I want you to really, really pay attention to this part if you haven't heard anything else. It says, we must be careful when we start putting intelligent quotients or IQs on people. Your potential has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with those tests. Whew, there's just something freeing about that already. Let me repeat it. Your potential has nothing to do with those tests. Only God determines your potential. Your IQ is spelled Holy Spirit. I just love that. Your IQ is something that goes far beyond the pages of a test. It goes all the way to God. So the question becomes, what are some of the things that you've been told? Is this something that you can, resonate with, identify with? I know I can. When I was in high school, I didn't make the best grades. I was average, right? My grades and my tests said that I was average. So therefore, I barely got accepted into college. While I was there, I did the bare minimum, operated as I was average. I didn't finish the first time, end up getting sent home, academic probation. Long story short, I spent a lot of my life feeling like I was average, right? And not only just feeling like I was average, but, excuse me, my actions, the things that I did were average. Now, as I got older and started working in, corporate and learned a lot of things about myself and had some growth, I grew some, I did. And so I always felt like inside I had this soft whisper. You got to listen to that whisper, right? That whisper is your intuition. That whisper is that thing that you know, that you know, that you know, that you know. You might not fully understand it, but you know what you know. So anyways, I would spend all that time saying, you have so much untapped potential. I have so much untapped potential. I don't know what it is, but I know I got so much untapped potential. I applied for that job, and I know that I can do it with my eyes closed. But they say I'm good, but not quite good enough. They tell me I'm average, and they're looking for, somebody more educated or somebody more versed in that area of leadership or has that, those years of service or whatever. Basically saying that I'm average. But I still knew without a doubt inside that I had untapped potential, right? And this right here, what I read today, it just brought it home for me. For years, I thought that all the things that I did in high school, all my grades and things like that would determine how successful I would be, what was I capable of and things of that sort. And I want you to be mindful of this, especially those of us who have kids and are raising kids. COVID, things have not been the same since COVID. And these kids, I actually feel bad for them. Like they are behind, but yet the curriculum and the things that the teachers are teaching, they're having to try to make up for it. And it's just a mess out here, right? So if you have learned nothing else today, think about some of these things when it comes in terms of your kids and how you're speaking to them and what you're pouring into them, and take it a step further, because some of you might feel like, it's too late. I'm older now. It's never too late. Think about what are some of those thoughts, that were told to you. What were some of those things that were said to you that you have now compartmentalized and they have taken up space in your brain for so long? You know what that's called? That's called a limiting belief. I'm sure you've heard limiting belief before, but limiting belief is one of those things or some of those thoughts, that you have about yourself. These stem back from things that were told to you, things that were spoken to you, because words have power, and people might not think so, but, they carry a lot of weight. And oftentimes they end up just taking up space in your head. You don't even necessarily know you truly believe that about yourself, but you've heard it and it's been planted there, and you haven't necessarily done the work to, be able to unpack that and replace it with something more powerful, more and more, more of a growth mindset per se. But long story short, I need you to remember that none of those things determine what your potential is. God determines your potential. Just like when you were created, you were already born with a purpose, right? There's nothing that anybody can do come hell or high water to change that, right? You truly hold the keys to what it is that you want to do and how far you seeing yourself go. I can't say it enough. I've heard it before. You've heard it before. That your thoughts definitely become your reality. Your thoughts definitely become your reality. I'm going to share this quick story with you and then I'm going to let you go. So I have a coach, right? Yes, every coach should have a coach, and I definitely have one. My coach, the amazing Angel Richardson, this lady, she shares her story with us all the time. And do you know that Angel failed the 9th grade? Not one time, not 2 times. Angel failed the 9th grade 3 times. And she tells us all the time how she grew up and all she heard from her mom and from other people, definitely school, that she was stupid, she wasn't smart, she wasn't capable, and all of these things. Do you now know that this lady has multiple businesses, a successful coaching practice? She has dibbled and dabbled in so many things. She has taken the resources at her fingertips and have self-taught herself. She has educated herself on marketing, and that's just go to show that there's no excuse, honey. If there's anything out here to be learned, YouTube University, you Google it and you can pull it up and it's going to teach you how to do it, right? This lady, the point that I'm getting at, this lady that failed the 9th grade 3 times, do you know that she retired her husband? And they live upstate, and he was a welder for many years. So what is that? What does that mean? That means they were getting to the monies. So if this lady was able to retire her husband and she failed the 9th grade 3 times, what does that say about what you can do? What she did was she stopped believing what people were telling her. She stopped allowing those thoughts to take up space in her mind of being told she was stupid, she was dumb, and she start remembering and she start encouraging herself. She start planting into her mind what God said about her, what she's capable of, what her purpose is, and it's just a testament. It's a beautiful story. Everybody has their story, but I find that one that's just so empowering. Anyways, I didn't mean to be long, y'all. But really, really, really think about your potential. And even with your kids, don't allow them to think that what they have done in school, yeah, good grades are good, but that don't mean it's the end of the world because you're not you didn't take good tests. I know several people. They're very smart, but they're not great test takers, right? And there are so many people that have not tapped into their full potential and have not been operating in their purpose simply because of things like that. But it stops today, people. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing day. If there was anything that you felt resonated, drop it in the comments. Let me know if this is something that you've heard before. Share it with me. We're on this journey together. But anyways, I just had to share that with y'all. Now I'm going to get back to work and let you guys get back to what you're doing. And in the interim, keep pushing. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.